abysmal today in their first game. So we really have a mixed bag coming on here. Combined record from last week, you know, Dignitas on a 4-game losing streak, Liquid lost their last game, but really anything could happen still.
And to go back to that Liquid point where you said they do great and then not so great, that was the CLG and then Energy, a win, then a loss. The only change to the composition was a Nautilus and Poppy change in the top. So we saw the same composition play drastically different from Liquid. That's something also very clean up a little bit. 2 bans for each team so far. Nautilus, Azir, who we've been seeing much more of across all regions, with the Kindred and the Gragas.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing some slight regional differences in the overall meta. I said at the top of the show in our patch discussion that I thought Poppy was actually going to become the preeminent top laner in North America, and that was a data-informed decision because Poppy had been 100% pick ban in Korea and Europe on the current patch. But then it fell completely through in the first game of the day. And some of that can just come down to what the teams in North America are playing. For instance, Graves top is far more prevalent in the North American LCS than it would be in, say, the European LCS. And I think that's something that can work very well into Poppy. In this particular example, though, Team Dignitas bans out Nautilus anyway because Lourlo was so good on it.
Looking at...
Little stop and start on the music.
Yep. They're DJing it now, getting the mix in.
Here's Poppy.
Champion select mix. The Corki gets picked up, both mid laners. 2 plays on Corki in their last 2 games. So for Dig to get that, puts FeniX on something else, but they get the Elise and the Poppy, something we've seen them getting consistently. The Lee Sin, however, open. Dardoch doesn't take it this time.
Yeah, maybe a little bit less hyped on the Lee Sin. He had played it 4 games in a row prior to this one. But he is also against Team Dignitas, so there is a higher value in the Elise pick here.
Right, for Kirei.
Exactly. Elise gets banned away against Team Dignitas frequently. In this instance, I think Team Liquid is actually trying to bait them into an Elise first pick so they themselves could get the Corki. So there's no way they were giving them both Corki as well as Elise on a rotation when they go back around.
Good idea.
And Dardoch can play it, so he's just going to pick it early.
Sivir comp is there for Dignitas, something we used to actually see quite a bit in the past for them. So they know how to run this just straight engage.
Apollo, Sivir may be Apollo's best champion. Back in the summer split, his main champions for Team Impulse were Sivir and Graves. Graves has obviously changed substantially, so Sivir is now even kind of buffed from that since she can crit on her Ricochet. And I like that choice there for Team Dignitas since when they win, they typically win through a brawly teamfight game, and all of their champions thus far are very good in that environment.
Showing the Lee Sin for the haha. Or does Kirei actually play it? We got Lulu, Janna picked up. A lot of safety on this side of Liquid. And why not? They love to focus the Piglet's AD carry. Make it strong. Let it carry. Looking for Dignitas. What will they answer with? The Sivir's already going to bring the team into an area they can fight. What else do they bring to that fight?
Yeah, it's funny that Apollo is hovering Vayne when they already have Sivir locked in. Because I actually think Piglet should play Vayne into this particular matchup with the Janna and the Lulu. It's what they would be able to use to kind of shred through a super tanky Trundle, and it's also tremendously effective against Sivir. I wish they would lock that in. It'll be our first Alawi. Poor lonely Alawi. I believe I heard a stat somewhere that this is the only champion that hasn't been played in a professional league yet.
So, yeah. No Alawi.
One day.
Udyr? Back to Udyr.
Oh!
All right, so Kirei's going to take Udyr in the jungle. Seen it fall a little bit to the wayside. Smithy would dabble quite a few times on it and played well. See what Kirei can do. Looking back, Gragas, Elise, Kindred was really his other pickups, so we have not seen that coming from him. Final pickup for Liquid to round out that AD carry position. Feeling like the Lulu's going to be safe in mid lane for FeniX. We'll see what they will protect Piglet on.
Yeah.
It's really a strat that doesn't change for them too much.
I still think Vayne would be good here, although we haven't seen him play it. This year, it's more likely that we'll just see him play Lucian.
Right.
It's what they're most comfortable on usually. I do want to kind of speak to the Udyr pick, though. And I'm not going to change my pronunciation of Udyr, as many people that will tweet me elsewise. I think it's the way you should say it. But it's a deep pocket pick for Kirei. And we do get the Vayne anyway, so we're getting all the things that I like to see in a game. Looking at Kirei's solo queue account, he's ranked 36 on the North American server. He has 1 Udyr game on that account this season. So it's something that they would have been scrimming a lot of, or he's playing it on a lesser-known account. It's also something Dardoch has played a lot of as well. I do not like to pick one bit into a Lulu and a Janna, who I think are 2 of Udyr's biggest counters.
We're looking at here 4 and 12 to 8 and 8. With that loss energy just had today, it would be very great for Liquid to be able to move up on that 9 and 8. Dignitas as well to just get as many wins here as possible. Keep the spot of the LCS split alive without too much more pressure added on.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. Teams are locked in. Piglet does get his Vayne. Going to be quite a protective Vayne composition, and we got a full run at you comp. We're going to see Tempered Fate coming out from Bard here on KiWiKid. See what they can do. Dignitas really needs to start to step it up a little bit here at the end of the season. Show that they can be a team that is going to reckon with the rest.
They do, and they had some really big missed opportunities last week when they had a chance to beat Echo Fox and Immortals, but they fell short on both of those regards. And here, I do not necessarily like their team composition. Udyr is good with Sivir, but I do not think it's good against Lulu or Janna.
Yeah, it can get kited quite a bit there. Tell us how you think the game is going to go over on Twitter. You heard us and what we had to say. Hit us up at LOL Esports with your votes. Always hashtag DIG win or hashtag TL win. You know the drill. We'll tally up those votes and show you as we get a little ways into game, maybe after Keystones, maybe before. We'll switch it up. A little variety is the spice of life. We are into game. It's going to be Dignitas versus Team Liquid. Let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see the Keystones as well. Warlords, Bloodlust, I think, changes a little bit of what champions are able to play. For instance, the large amount of lifesteal you can get in lane as Vayne, especially when you can amplify that lifesteal with the Janna shield to increase your overall AD, I think makes Vayne viable in matchups where she wasn't viable before. Also, with recent patch changes to make Sivir's Ricochet crit, you're more likely to see her. And I do think Vayne has always been one of Sivir's natural counters. It's very easy when Sivir goes to push a side wave, which she does all too often. If Vayne just exists in the same lane past level 6, I feel like Vayne can ultimate, close the distance, and just straight up kill Sivir.
Quickly take him out, and we know Piglet has those mechanics. If he gets going in any form, it's going to be very tough for Dignitas to feel confident about making any moves. Maybe they still will, but it will be difficult to make that happen with a smile if Piglet gets ahead. Starting off on this one, TP for FeniX in the mid lane. We'll look for plays to be made there along with Lourlo. So double TP against the heal for Shiphtur, playing it safe, trying to get himself scaled up for the game.
Yeah, Shiphtur, fairly conservative laner as usual. Towards the bottom of the league in CS differential at 10. He usually gives up a lot of CS so he can have a higher presence in teamfights. Back a few years ago, that ended up working very well, but it has not worked as well the past couple of years for him.
We'll see how safe he plays this one. We're actually going to get the lanes that we want. Still get a little help to the junglers so they get some speed through as well. Both
Actually,
sides
incredibly mirrored starts.
Right.
Part of that is because of the deep warding that happened. It stopped the little... It basically scared the AD carries off of doing a camp. KiWiKid was able to get a deep ward in the Gromp of Team Liquid. Therefore, instead of trying to do the Gromp and get harassed off, Team Liquid just went straight to lane. And then because Dignitas had warded, they didn't have time to go back and do their own Krugs. So we get the most standard of starts, with top laners pulling for junglers and junglers cycling. The paths are different, though. Dardoch has skipped all the way down to blue buff.
Yeah, he went down real quick. I was just watching where Kirei was. Thank you for catching that. Looking at bot, looks like level 2 will be Apollo's first. They leveled that quicker, so you can see not too bad. Vayne under the turret. Piglet's actually going to be quite happy in this position because he can even get the shield to hit minions that are out of range. Easy for them, only missing a few.
Yeah. Sivir will shove in Vayne very early, but I don't think Sivir has any kill pressure on Vayne, which is what Piglet will be fine on. He'll be fine farming up. And to speak to the jungle a little bit there, Dardoch did a highly modified path because he had no knowledge of where Kirei had started, but they had their own jungle warded, so they were worried that Kirei was going to do a very quick jump into the blue side jungle of Dardoch, and he's done that modified path to prevent that. It means he's a little bit behind experience on Udyr, but it's safe.
We've seen Dardoch a few times show himself in lane, have ganks that don't go very well, but he does know how to repair the situation. Being behind here should not be too bad for him. Gold's completely even throughout the game as we have not seen any action. It looks like both teams are giving each other a bit of respect here. And I'd say, who would that actually help if things go very calm in the early game here?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because a lot of it will actually have to do with how much farm Piglet is able to get in team fights since everything is channeled through to him. I think overall, a laning phase game that will transition to team fights does favor Team Dignitas a little bit, mainly because how many games did we see early on in the season with BillyBoss on Trundle in lane swaps where it would just become a teleport fest early and Team Dignitas would lose the game before he's level 6.
Right.
Trundle wants to have a extended laning phase where he can hit level 6, build up Titanic Hydra, Iceborne Gauntlet, and start bullying. And this type of game makes that much more likely to happen.
A little bit of love towards top lane here. Dardoch's just hanging around to make sure Lourlo doesn't get too much aggression. And while he's there, he'll take that Gromp on the top side. BillyBoss adding a little bit of love to the fight, and we are going to get a bit of vision here on the side of Kirei. He sees that. Oh, he does not see that ward. I thought it was just placed.
They're going to run into each other here.
This is BillyBoss coming down. The Repel's going to put him pretty much in the same spot. Kirei walked forward a little bit, which gave him an area to go more behind on that Repel. So it works out. Flash blown.
Yeah.
Playing it dangerous.
Not the greatest counter jungle there by Dardoch because Kirei spotted them right at the tail end. And then Kirei took the appropriate path to cut off the Elise, knowing that Lourlo wasn't going to be able to lend assistance through the turret or through the giant wall that was going to stop him from being there. It'll hurt their lane pressure in top lane a little bit and expend his flash.
So there's a little bit more of that. Dardoch trying to take a different path, do different things. Gets caught out by Kirei. He'll stay top lane, though. You saw that was very low for BillyBoss. At least half HP is something they can work on. Yeah,
this is actually counter gank by Dardoch. He's expecting the Udyr to loop around and gank here. That's the only reason I believe he would be here. Because they knew that Trundle was so low that they'd have the health advantage in a 2v2. I think Kirei recognized that as well, that the counter gank could be possible, and I think he told BillyBoss to just go home. Although, he's sticking around. Now it's getting dicey.
You don't have to go out for that. Yeah, okay. Pushing in. He might lose a few to the turret.
It might threaten to dive. He's not level 6 yet. And because Udyr has bailed, he has to respect that push.
This is an option now for Kirei to kind of make a move. They know he's not top. It gives an idea to Liquid. They have to be safe, but Kirei's going to use this time of Dardoch being top to get some more of this, or get some more of the jungle for himself. Lanes really haven't been affected too much with the TPs being hit up first. BillyBoss uses his to get back, so we won't see a huge play from there. Everybody's playing too safe, Jatt. We're getting antsy right now.
Yeah, standard lanes, that's all you need to make a really exciting game, Riv. Just laning against each other.
You're not even really getting a CS lead too much. That's a great dodge on the Q. About an equal damage trade. Matt comes out a little healthier.
Yeah, people can still play very passive if they want. Nice ward in the river. Kirei's very low on mana as well, so even if he landed a bear stance, he wouldn't have the mana to do a Phoenix stance. He should just be looking... See, this to me is a mistake by Kirei. He should be clearing Krugs before recalling. Otherwise, it's just going to expose them to being under-leveled. He should be outpacing Dardoch's Elise by more than 3 CS right now. Dardoch did a modified route and also did a defensive gank, which Kirei did not match. So the fact that he's only ahead by 3 CS to me is a pretty big misplay. For a champion that can jungle much faster based on the kit early game, and because Dardoch did a defensive path.
It seems like Dardoch, as well as seconds after Kirei, every time he's been playing that momentum. Kirei's actually going to be off to the wing on the left side here. TP's going to come in, which will help from Lourlo. Remember, BillyBoss's is down. That may be the majority of this play. That's going to be a kill going in front of Matt. They've traded one for Piglet. Piglet still getting shots in. Another TP now coming in. And it looks like they will be safe. Apollo does get taken down. And that first TP was from FeniX, rather, not on Lourlo. What a crazy fight. And now Shiphtur's here. Flashes over, and he's able to get himself a kill. A whole lot of mayhem in the beginning of the game at the bottom side when really nothing was happening before.
Yeah, mayhem is the right word for it, because at the same time, BillyBoss didn't even teleport down, so technically Team Liquid burned both of their teleports on there in what was a 2-for-0 teleport advantage, and didn't come out of it with that monumental of a lead. The CS difference is going to catch up in the top lane to kind of neutralize that. But if we look at the dive in particular, they exhaust Apollo while they try going in. And it looks like Matt takes one too many turret shots, ends up giving away a kill credit to an Apollo ricochet. And the rest of the dive was decently clean as Dardoch and Lourlo stick around at pretty low health and Apollo can't follow through the kill. But then Dardoch and Lourlo just, they kind of hit a few minions on their way out. Shiphtur's able to flash in. I feel like if they could have left a minion standing near the turret, Lourlo could have used his heroic charge to slam to safety, but instead they farmed him away. Not the greatest dive by Team Liquid. Still a little bit advantageous, but I think it could have been a lot cleaner.
So TPs are down. Still flashes came out of that play, so if Liquid tries to get anything aggressive or keep pushing themselves in the jungle a bit, they can. Dignitas will be looking for it. Only 400 gold down. Still very much anybody's game. That early action just allows them now to spike, get some items out, and see who makes the next move. Kirei kind of on this bottom side of the jungle now. He's spent a little time top, saw Dardoch, and now he's been working on that ward he wasn't able to clear, and then since the fight, just been bot lane.
Yeah. And I think to have Udyr work in the game right now, he needs to have a larger farm share. And Team Dignitas is going to need to dedicate a lane of some kind to him later in the game. Currently, though, BillyBoss would be their split pusher, and I don't really feel like they're set up to do a great 1-3-1 unless they have Sivir, Bard, Shiphtur in the mid lane, and then Udyr in the side lane. But he's going to be a little bit weak here, and BillyBoss getting dove again.
And still on the bottom side is Kirei. They're going to know that Dardoch is top. If they can't finish this kill, it may pay off just a little bit for grabbing something on that bottom, but they do get it. The turret aggro's back onto Dardoch. Lourlo gets out safely, and once again, Liquid start to find their targets.
Yeah, it's really difficult to dive a Trundle because he can gain so much health and resistances from his ultimate, but at the end of the day, they burn his ultimate, his flash, and still get the kill out without burning a summoner. So a lot of credit there to Team Liquid for doing that dive, and it was made possible because they knew Kirei couldn't be there for the counter gank.
So kind of what's the repair move now? We thought it would have been a little more laid back, Kirei kind of super farming this game out, and that's almost what they have to do now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the counterplay to a ganking jungler. You find the area on the map he ganks, you go and steal his jungle.
Right,
so that was the correct move, but the problem is it doesn't put him ahead. Dardoch had been hard farming beforehand, so even though he's behind in the minion total, he is still ahead of him in levels. Dardoch's a level 8, Elise against a level 7 Udyr.
Yeah, the 2-0-2 in the bag of chips on the side there with the kills and the farm for himself, almost built up on his core items. Going to be difficult to stop Dardoch, whether it's the Elise in or now the takeaway Elise for Kirei, which makes Kirei feel a little bit uncomfortable. It seems to be working. Fights onto FeniX. Shiphtur's been able to control the lane pretty well with that damage. Usually you figure you get pushed in by Lulu, but Shiphtur's not having it. You can do the same with Corki.
Definitely one of the better CS showings of the year for Shiphtur here. Also have to note that one of the reasons Corki is first pickable / the most pick/banned mid laner on the current patch is because of the early laning phase being so oppressive. Can trade very favorably with pretty much every matchup, also has a shove advantage, and doesn't need to use Valkyrie in lane, so can always use it if a gank approaches.
Cheeky little placement from BillyBoss. He's able to get a few extra hits in. Throwing the harass down. You can hear the T-Mat going off. He's almost to that Titanic. Kirei showing top, but he's vision now. You see how fast Dardoch actually starts to skittle up here. Okay, he's going to be just off on the wing. Great entry into it. He'll be seen by the ward on the other side, but nothing's going to come of it anyway. Got all excited for nothing.
Yeah, I do have to hand it to Dardoch this game. I feel like he has been ahead of Kirei in the mind games in a lot of different situations. This is a nice adaptation, though, by Kirei, knowing that Dardoch went to clean his Krugs. It's a golden opportunity to take the Rift Herald. Kirei should take this and hopefully find a gank with the enhanced move speed. That's his way back in the game. I feel like if he doesn't get a gank off very early, it's going to be a slow burn for Team Liquid for the rest of the game.
It's a top, maybe. It's going to be hard to gank all the other ones. Like you said, you're going to get kited so hard on most of these fights. Poppy's really the only one you're not going to have to jump on to walk up and hit her. Lourlo has actually been doing a lot better at staying out of those sticky situations. The beginning of the season, his Gnar was focused quite a bit, but we've seen Nautilus and Poppy a lot better at staying alive, being there when the team needs him past 6, and definitely having a better score line. Here, 92-96, keeping it even in that sense. We were waiting for the Tempered Fate hit, and there's the first one to come out. That will be the kill onto Piglet. Cannot leave the Vayne alone.
Yeah, 2 cancel teleports at the end there. FeniX and
good
Lourlo.
Good eye.
And BillyBoss. So actually 3 cancel teleports, I think, unless FeniX teleported into the mid lane. I have to double back and check that. That's exactly what Team Dignitas needed, though. They waited for magic recall, Tempered Fate to stop Piglet from recalling, and Kirei was coming through the lane with the empowered move speed from the Doom's Eve buff he gets from Rift Herald. Doom's Eye, Doom's Eve, one of the two.
Yeah. Good split second placement there as well by KiWiKid. Pretty easy for Vayne to just kind of roll out of that, but he gave it enough distance to catch her, even after the mechanics. So 4-3, Dignitas turns the burner on. Things are starting to heat up for them, but they got to keep this consistency rolling. Top lane still back and forth, but making a move in the bot lane is definitely going to start things up for them.
Yep, desync recalls from Piglet and Matt means the KiWiKid can get the Bard ultimate down. Great timing on the Bard stun when he removes stasis. And yeah, that was a double cancer teleport by Team Liquid and a single cancel by Team Dignitas. So they will be coming up faster than your standard teleport. 200-second cooldown instead of your base 300-second cooldown. Still hurts, though, that they even began the channels on those after Piglet had died.
A lot of love for the lanes. No love for the objectives this game. No real pressure towards Dragon whatsoever. Both teams are happy farming it up for now. KiWiKid looking to just do a bit of damage if Matt wants to get a Warden. Doesn't look like they'll be able to work off too much. We see BillyBoss's teleports down there. It's a dangerous miss.
Oh, just an inch away from the wall.
Yep.
KiWiKid will bard away through the speed shrine, picks up a meep. No catching that guy. Oh, Billy!
Oh, he quickly autoed the minion, which kind of killed one of his steps. Still gets Lourlo to blow his flash. He's perfectly happy with that. Blew his as well, but has control of the lane as he pushes towards the turret. A move by Kirei actually pushes Lourlo off a little bit more, so top should be theirs in just a few seconds. And FeniX, he's been doing his damnedest to stay alive in this lane. Every time we see it, he's half HP, but still keeping his farm up.
Yeah, he's gone with a very standard Lulu build, but it's definitely not aggressive early. Frost Queen's Claim is a gold generation item that will help him transition into the rest of his items and help him with the kit, but it's definitely not a lane bully item, so expect him to get pushed in. With the gank top from Udyr, it was matched essentially by Dardoch roaming down, and they have been able to trade turrets, but because of the gank earlier, Team Dignitas has the overall turret advantage.
Lots of pings towards the mid lane. They should be good here. Oh, okay. You scared me a lot. 80% here for Liquid. It probably would have looked like Kirei face checked that brush, but he knows better. A lot of pings going over towards the mid lane, and they know exactly where the danger lies right now. So Liquid feeling comfortable. The map's opened up enough. They try to do a little bit more to get wards forward, get even bigger advantage. So without finding it, take a breather, back into their jungle. I was thinking about it just as we saw Dardoch on the screen a few minutes ago. We were talking about junglers a lot. It's like dominate to Dardoch has been kind of the same dynamic for this team. A strong jungler that commands a lot in the early game, do the same thing. And that falls in line with FeniX, Piglet. They kind of were used to that last season.
It is really crazy how many similarities there are between Dardoch and Dominate.
Yeah.
Like, it is a true successor to I Will Dominate. As they said it was, Dardoch and Dominate. I remember when Dominate had his retirement AMA or thread on Reddit. It was just a big love fest between Dardoch and Dominate, all complimenting each other and saying how similar they were. And like you say, the way they play, even to the point of have really great performances, falls from some really bad performances, and sometimes don't recover from mistakes, or when they're winning can just take over a game. So far, Dardoch is 2-0-2, but it has been matched by some big plays by Team Dignitas, so Dardoch will have a pretty big impact on this game if Team Liquid wants to win.
Especially with that Elise pickup we were talking about, taking away. Having that champion pool definitely helps as well. Liquid looking to keep themselves in an area for a playoff spot with more wins on the final week of LCS. A bit of back and forth. Exhausted Kirei, that's the kind of kite we were talking about. It would be hard for Udyr to get in. A lot of flashes, a lot of defense being used for Dignitas to get away. They finalize one of the kills as they looked for 3 there. It was looking pretty grim for Dig.
Yeah, really interesting conflict right there because both top laners technically had the option to teleport down as well, although they're looking at each other, so they could have canceled each other's teleports. But yeah,
that's true.
That's kind of the way I think this game is going to end up progressing. Team Dignitas isn't going to be going for 1-3-1. They're going to be using the classic run-at-them strategy, which is actually really good with Sivir. Sivir will pop ultimate. Kirei and BillyBoss will try and Zerg in the team fights, and it's going to be a constant battle of whether or not Team Dignitas can get in range versus whether or not they're going to get peeled by Vayne and Janna. Here, the Bard ultimate was supposed to allow more time for Dignitas to run at them, but it missed. So they were then able to use their skills, juke around, knock them back, and they never really closed the distance from there. KiWiKid then got run at by the move speed from Lulu, who is speeding them up there. So that's kind of a microcosm of why I think Team Liquid's composition is superior in this sense.
And we saw it was just a split second. That was a Piglet Apollo 1v1 real quick. Piglet dodging multiple abilities, the Tempered Fate. We said that 1v1 was not going to be too fun for Apollo. And we saw the results right there. The seal now on top of that Blade of the Rune King from Piglet. So as a Vayne, feeling very good. And that Kirei shard as well to get up, get his static going on.
Nice pronunciation.
Yeah.
I stay away from that word. I will say the shard and the zeal.
The shard?
Yeah.
Sounds good. I like it. I attempt.
A little bit of extra wave clear if he ends up completing the static shiv there. FeniX still with that turret standing. However, if Team Dignitas is able to get that turret down and then force a fight around an objective, the overall goal lead could still lead to a pretty big team fight if they actually successfully run at them here. Team Liquid not actually keeping up with some of the map pressure here, and it's a nice timing by Kirei to be here with another Rift Herald buff. Should get the turret.
That was a...
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so they saw everybody coming over from the right. I was going to say, that's a lot of respect given to just FeniX, but we see the team kind of waltz in from the right side. A cocoon would not be what they want right now.
Oh, that turret.
And it is, it's about dead.
That is not much health. 20 of 4,000. So the turret is at 0.5% health right now.
Who's got it?
One auto attack. Oh, but the shield.
It's too early.
This is how you get weighted into fights, actually. Team Dignitas would really want to just go in for that one last shot, but they're expecting, like, as soon as they do that, an Elise to flash over a wall or something. So, attempt number 3 for pushing that wave in. They should be getting it on the next wave. I think Shiphtur could walk up and just auto it.
Yeah.
Without minions.
That you have to have minions under 20 health.
I think it has 230 armor, so maybe not.
Whee!
Oh, fight happening.
That's all right. People are just flying around, getting some frequent flyer miles. Lourlo kind of disengaged that one.
Oh my god.
Still alive. This is going to be the turret that actually breaks the record of our new turret last week.
Yeah, it'll be up
It'll just
over
never
60
die.
minutes.
So Spooky Ghosts go out. This may just be to put some wards down. We saw FeniX moving forward, and they know he's going for blue. So knowledge over to the team of Liquid. Still only that one dragon on the board. We'll see the next one coming up in a bit, but that Baron is now an option. And I'm sure Liquid's going to want to stay away from that. Keep Lourlo in the side lanes, along with Dardoch here, forcing the flash onto BillyBoss. It'll help a little bit. Trundle's still a nuisance, even without it.
Yeah, he could sustain up if he wanted to, or he gets to go back since his teleport is still up. He'll be wanting to pick up Iceborne Gauntlet as soon as possible. Don't think he has quite enough to finish it yet, but he could still pick up his Glacial Shroud, which he does. And the mid turret survives.
Gaining some ground now.
Yeah.
It's a good thing those don't gain health.
Counter push. Yeah, can you imagine if tier 1 turrets regen?
I'm interested to see how this actually plays out. A lot of wards were given to Apollo in the bot lane. He has free reign over the turret, and Liquid's going to start off on the Baron.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a full sneak, though. They can easily throw a Dardoch down just to delay if they're suspicious. The Dardoch should come in any moment. Sivir is pushing this whole time, so where's the Dardoch?
Dardoch, there it goes. Baron is down to about 200 HP, and it gets Lulu'd out. FeniX takes that one down for the team, and it's going to be the rush down on Dignitas. The journey, is it taken? Oh, it's going to be FeniX. He didn't want it. He didn't want it at all. He gets himself out alive. How is that even possible?
And then the empowered recalls can go back, so Sivir only takes one outer turret on the back side. It means Team Dignitas gains a turret advantage, but boy, oh boy, was that Dardoch so slow onto the Baron there. The whole idea was the Sivir was split pushing, and you stall them in the Baron pit so you can close ground and poke them while the Baron is killing them. But KiWiKid just holds on to the Temper Fate for so long. Team Liquid does pick up the Baron, and we'll now look for a counter push. 3,000. Bard is in range for his ultimate this entire time. Throws it at 200. They almost secured the Baron before the Dardoch was up. Tries to steal it with a Q over the wall, can't get it, and at that point it's a Lulu Janna Vayne chasing you outside of the Baron pit as Shiphtur arrives. FeniX, though, no one else fought it through, and the package AoE had been laid down on the exit to the magical journey, which is perfect placement, actually. Look at those shields to take the turret down.
It is. Able to brute force a few down, and that's kind of where that confidence break comes in. Dignitas still has the Sivir comp, but now they have to be confident that it's going to be over that 60-70% chance they'll be able to get to their targets. We're seeing the kiting effect now of Liquid's squad. It's hard for Kirei to get in there. It's hard for these guys to want to keep the fight. They just keep, or Liquid rather, just keeps walking backwards. 20 seconds onto Dragon. We were saying there were a lot of wards placed previously by KiWiKid on the bot side.
Oh my god. So this is Vayne.
This is where it gets dangerous, yeah. That hurts.
And this is also why, even though Team Dignitas have the Trundle and Udyr, which are both good split pushers, why they can't 1-3-1 in this game. Because Piglet is just going to use Final Hour, Blade of the Ruin King you, stun you against a wall, and kill you. Especially if Matt comes at them in that way. Yeah, Team Liquid has the gold distribution they want as well in this game, so even though it's only a 2,500 gold lead, they are much stronger in the way this game's going to be played.
And they already know where the control is. I mean, Piglet could have stayed with Lourlo here, but they're like, no, break down to mid, push that, come get Dragon. We have Dragon. They're thinking about many different things right now. I'm not worried about getting everything right away. They're going for the slow dime. Going to get a lot by doing it slowly.
Yeah, Kirei's going to try and steal this. Nope. And now it's going to be trouble. A lot of slows.
Oh. Can the Sivir be faster? Good.
Battle of the speed.
Dancing the dances. He gets out. He's alive. It's always a moment, though, but losing that much health each time you are out on the map means you're going to be losing that much more ground every time you have to go back. It's becoming troublesome now for Dignitas to keep their members in a position to defend turrets.
Yeah, very much so. The Zerat portal was completed by Kirei, so that's the hope of creating a little bit more clogging of the lanes. But at the same time, I feel like Team Liquid is going to be able to cut right through that. They still have a Baron-empowered push here. Shiphtur is not in range. Oh. Baron just wore off.
Yeah.
Just slow things down a little bit. There would still be the danger of Piglet getting caught out of position by a Bard ult and then Shiphtur and Apollo kind of critting him before the shields can take effect. But assuming Piglet and Matt and FeniX are all kind of grouped together, I don't see a good way for Team Dignitas to kill the Vayne, especially as he's probably going Bloodthirster. So he'll be now double lifesteal item.
I was actually just going to say that.
Overshield.
There's not much crowd control to hit him up, but if he does need to cleanse, doesn't have it. He's going to be stuck, so we're definitely going to see Piglet kind of positioning as much as possible. And it's already been a pleasure. Always is to see him on the Vayne. And I'm sure it's terrifying to be an opponent against that as well, especially when he starts feeling confident. You see that play from him here. 26 minutes in, Liquid looking to close out Week 9. Quite strong here with the first game against Dignitas. But it is not over yet. Like you said, Piglet gets caught. There's not much damage on the rest of the team here that they're looking at, and it could be a drawn-out fight. That's where the rundown gets in for Dignitas.
Trundle ultimate down, and Lourlo sticking with him. Here comes Vayne once again. Billy.
Oh,
Billy.
Oh, Billy. Billy goes down once again. Trying to get lanes pushed is a dangerous task in this game. It only gets more dangerous as it goes on.
He can't do it. It's against his team composition with the Iceborne Gauntlets on Lourlo and not incredible side wave warding or jungle warding.
Yeah.
I think the only way Team Dignitas gets something back is if they group up as 5, Bard ult the peel, get everyone in range, and find a Zorgi team fight, because the split push, they're just going to continue to feed more kills into Piglet, and the more farm Piglet gets, the harder the team fighting itself is going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, Team Liquid really in control here.
Stealing everything they can on the way out, and even FeniX now, they're completely playing off the ball. FeniX the top lane, soon it's going to be waves crashing into each turret here for Dignitas. Definite damage control needs to be figured out at this point. What can it be? Can they choose to go in on a fight, or is it too dangerous? They have to wait for a mistake. Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, I would say about 5 or 6 minutes ago, they would have been able to choose to go on a fight.
Right.
Here, they need to wait until someone shows in a side lane and then try and get a really quick fight in. The problem with that is the only people that are going to be in side lanes are going to be able to support with teleport. So really, what Team Dignitas would want is a 5v3 or a 5v4 where they can use the Bard ultimate onto preferably Janna, Lulu, or Vayne. That way, either their priority target or the peel for their priority target will be temporarily disabled, and it will allow people to run in range with the On the Hunt from Sivir. But that's a lot of conditioning
it makes
to find the ideal fight. It makes it almost impossible.
Really ridiculous. You always have another person to shield or save. Lourlo. They're like, you want to kill our top laner? We'll come back for yours over and over. The teleports will be used here. A lot of focus. Even FeniX from the top lane, they feel like there's going to be a big enough fight to gain the rest of the map. And that's Lourlo very low. He could eventually go down. It's going to be the flash chomp coming in from BillyBoss. And Team Liquid trying to assess this, reset the fight. They've lost a little bit of the lane pressure here. If this one goes down, Matt on the other side, that's the Zephyr to slow down Kirei. It looks like the finalizing kill will be here. Pix goes in, and it gives quite a bit of help. One binding hits. The FeniX speed up is still there. And KiWiKid's flash comes in through the next one. Glitter goes through a magical journey.
Yep, even skill shots can get you in there. Tough luck for Team for Team Dignitas right there, because Baron is also just respawning. That was as close of an opportunity as I think they were going to find. There were a lot of people on Team Liquid that weren't there. Piglet wasn't there, so the main damage source was not going to be able to kill Team Dignitas, at least immediately. But Dardoch did enough damage, and Team Dignitas could not land their damage as clean as they would like. And this Baron very easily goes over. They're actually slowing their Baron damage down so that all 5 team members can get it. They wait for Lourlo to revive, and now all 5 people on Team Liquid have Baron. Woo.
These fights as well. See this again, because they're so spread out. There's Apollo.
Yep.
But I'm like, we talk about the Sivir a lot, but he's not getting a chance to ricochet in these fights, deal his damage, do much. They always have one target, and then they can't finalize that target. Everything becomes chaos.
Yeah, KiWiKid with the accidental troll on a BillyBoss who teleports in just to get hit by Bard ultimate. He is able to flash in and kill Lourlo. BillyBoss a few seconds late on his teleport as well. Piglet is finally here, but doesn't get to do damage.
He's clearing wards.
Prompts the runaway. And Lulu is faster than Udyr and Bard, as many magical journeys as they would like to try.
I love the
Here we go. Actually fighting in the mid lane, trying to end the game as well, as you can see in the pip. So here we go.
This could be, oh my gosh, Piglet is going so headlong into this fight, and he is disregarding any danger. What a Howling Gale to stop Kirei from locking up Piglet. That would have been huge without the Quicksilver Sash, but he still has the safety of his team. It's literally 4 save Piglet right now. That's how they're playing this one, and it's working out fantastically. Get the Steadfast Presence on for extra safety on the way out.
Yep, and as we mentioned before, quite a defensive build as far as Vayne builds will go. A lot of lifesteal in that build, Bloodthirster, Blade of the Ruin King, and he's also building up to what is probably going to be a Mercurial Scimitar or a Maw of Malmortius. Either one of those, though, will be an added magic resist item, which works very well when you're shielded so heavily and when you're lifestealing so heavily, because your resist will be higher, therefore the effective health you are lifestealing is therefore greater. You get into the nitty-gritty of the math. So, efficient build for the situation. Then he just built a BF sword, because figures he's going to be alive anyway.
Scimitar is coming.
Oh?
Lourlo on the run. He's focused on the minions. Liquid are playing this one very methodically. Looking at where they go, we did say they have Cloud9 coming up next. That's going to be a difficult matchup. Cloud9 actually face CLG as well, so they have a lot on their docket to be thinking about. It could be a game that Team Liquid's able to take them off guard.
Absolutely. I mean, we know how much confidence Team Liquid can play with, especially going from a Saturday to a Sunday. A game like this can give them some nice confidence. They were able to make a really nice pivot at the very end of Champ Select, realized that Vayne was perfect for this team composition. They very well picked a heavy peel, high move speed composition into a team whose main win condition was to run at them. So I like their counter picks, I like their play, and we'll see if they can close it on this push.
Minions slowly creeping down the mid lane. No focus necessary for that. For Dig, though, they can stay here, try to keep it safe, but really letting it go down, that's just going to happen to the champions if it happens to the turret, and it's going to be KiWiKid that goes down first. All 5 turnaround priority target on the inhibitor, but now they know the Nexus is in their eyes. Liquid looking to make a good start to week 9. A hit from Lourlo to give them a little bit more breathing room, and they're really not even taking damage at this point. So many shields, heals, pop-ups, knockbacks, everything that they need to keep this fight going long. They are going to lose Dardoch in the end. Piglet goes down as well. Where's the focus? What's going on here? They're able to get down the last Nexus turret. Lourlo knows what's going on. Matt's doing his damnedest. FeniX still alive from the ashes. Will they be able to take this one down? A few more hits on the Nexus. I think the minions are giving us trouble now.
They might not
and this may not work out. Matt is throwing the attacks, and it's going to be a save. Dignitas keeps the Nexus alive.
It was super close.
The Iron Lung comes into play for Dignitas. Looking at an 8,000 gold deficit. Sorry. Yes, 8,000. Almost couldn't math. My brain is going in circles.
If Dignitas was somehow able to turn the game around and win from this, it would be the greatest feeling for the Team Dignitas fans that had to undergo the ordeal that was Week 8, Spring Split 2016. For these guys, Piglet died to the fountain, essentially, while trying to pick up kills. And then little baby Janna right at the end didn't have enough auto attacks to finish the Nexus. Unreal hold as Shiphtur was barely able to stay alive. Piglet also annihilated Apollo at the start of that fight by stunning him into the Nexus. Still, though, 2 inhibitors up for the next push. Watch this one again. Yeah, see, Apollo's condemned into the wall, dead right away. And FeniX! Oh! It's over.
Hey, that's
GG.
the game! Liquid, take down Dignitas!
The comeback was not to be. FeniX, the anti-fun teleport at the end. But actually, that was a deserved win, and it should have ended about 2 minutes before then.
Yep. You gotta expect it. Glitter is everywhere. Glitter will ruin everything, even a great finish. There's still a finish. And Liquid will increase that score 9-8 now. Very much liking their position with energy going down today to 8 and 9. That helps out Liquid quite a bit.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Team Liquid still technically has a chance at making it to 4th place. If we're looking at the overall standings, very important of them to win this game as well. Distancing themselves from Echo Fox, who was looking to make a run.
Yeah.
Team Liquid definitely with their eyes set towards the postseason now. 4-1-4 game from FeniX, as well as the critical last hit on the Nexus, which did not come easily this game. And I think it'll be a confidence-building game for Team Liquid as they move towards Cloud9 tomorrow.
Especially for Piglet, the rest of the team as well. This composition, we knew they could run it, and they kind of did. Picture perfect, textbook, if you will. You know how the Vayne textbook goes. And looking at the rest of the composition, they stayed true to it. They never kind of swayed. They never said, well, we can push this and then fight. They kept the protection around Piglet, and Liquid kind of didn't show much in the end. I guess that's good for the last week. You can come in, play comfort, don't push yourself to the limit. And if you can go into that postseason very strong, I think it'll work out better for you if you're not kind of trying to stretch yourself to the limit to get there in a good position.
Yeah, they could protect Piglet from everything except the Nexus turret. The Fountain turret was a little bit too strong for it. 26,000 damage dealt the champions in that game, most of anyone for Piglet. And I agree with you, just a solid game overall by Liquid. And it's got to feel good for Piglet to get to play Vayne. Because it's pretty much always been his favorite champion to play. And maybe it's sneaking back into the meta now against Sivir.
And it's kind of been a thing, too. We've heard from Piglet in his interviews I did with him in the past weeks that when he got on the team, or I should say when Loco came to the team, he kind of asked Piglet, what do you need to succeed? And in every week, that's there, but the Vayne's not. So this is a collaboration by the team, knowing that they can kind of go to this and still have a very strong composition in it. So they always have a little to play with. They took the Vayne, pulled it out of the sleeve, and it worked out fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, let's set it down to Freak right now.